welcome, America. That's right. This is the Made in America show here on the Made America Radio Network. We want to welcome all of you that's kind of transitioning to from the Invent America show that was hosted by the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. We want to welcome all of you here where we're going to be discussing the features and benefits of products and technology made right here in the great United States of America. Now, I'd like to welcome the co-host. She had to switch studios there, so she had to come into the Made in America studio. She's right here, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Miss Rita, how you doing? What a great show, as always. How you transitioning from the Invent America to Made in America. What a great combination, Rita.
Well, I feel very fortunate that we get to go from how do you get a product done to the ones that are actually made right here in our own backyard and talk about how cool they are.
Well, what I want to do right now, I want to talk about something that I kind of opened up. I can't say a can of worms, but I kind of opened up like a moment to discussion. If you recall, on the last hour, I got myself in a situation yesterday at a Walmart when I was telling the story. And boy, I want to mention the comments that I've gotten off of that. I was just going down to Walmart and just to refresh my audience and memory, they had this lady that was trying to put a swimming pool actually on top one of these 3-foot swimming pools, these portable, on top of a small car. And it was so funny to watch it. I was eventually I did help her, but I had to get into the store first. But and it was so funny because she had it in the middle, and then it was off to the left, and then she'd have to go around to the right side and try to, it just went on probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I just stayed there and watched her. I had to watch this lady. And
did you wonder if there was a candid camera somewhere around?
Yeah, maybe I was one of them things. But the point of the story, and it kind of led into this topic on Made in America. And I used that situation from this lady that was trying to get this pool on top of a car and when I came out of the store, she was still at it. Now, anybody else kind of like, I don't know, would have kind of just gave up and say, hey, I can't do this. But the moral of the story is I was trying to figure out what makes the American manufacturer great. What makes the entrepreneur, the inventor, great? And it was that word that I talked about. And I'm telling you, inventor lady, it just lit up the social media. And I think it's persistence. And I think that's the whole key to everything. And, for the past 30 years, I've been getting on this air and say, well, it's the craftsmanship. Yeah, but it's the persistence of the American inventor or the American company that's going to be persistent enough to solve problems. And I think that's the key right here.
Absolutely. When I talk to some of these inventors, well, I've been working on it for 15 years, and it's like, well, what's next? Well, now I've got to start selling it. Okay. You've got to be persistent to get it out there. And sometimes it takes a while. There's a lot of inventors where they come up with a really brilliant idea, but technology isn't there just yet. So they have to ride it, stick with it, keep working on it. And then all of a sudden the technology pops that allows them to make it at a price the consumer will pay. And, I have seen it over and over again, and how they'll go through different generations of products. So they're always making it a little better, always making it a little bit better. If you wait until it's perfect, frequently somebody else beats you to the marketplace. But if you're constantly working on it, and that's what we do in America, we make it better. It's like, oh yeah, it should be a little bigger. Oh yeah, it should be made out of this. We are persistent.
Yep. Patience, persistence, and that big word, don't never give up. If you really believe in it, don't never give up. Because, and I know we talked about this in the past, timing is everything in our business, timing. And sometimes, that old saying, prior planning prevents poor performance. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And these are all true factors. And that's true. Sometimes in life we can be prepared, but just the opportunity ain't there, or the opportunity presented itself, but you wasn't prepared for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate it when an inventor says, okay, I had a company call me, but I don't know what to answer to them. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, let's take a deep breath and say, all right, this is how we handle it. And so it's always satisfying to help that inventor get through the contract
yeah,
negotiations, to be able to help them
yeah,
understand this is no, this is what this phrase really means in the contract. And I've mentioned before, we had one gentleman, he had one word in the contract that meant he could not cancel it when he found out they were taking advantage of him. One
well,
word. And we had
well,
two different attorneys look at it, and it took them 15 minutes, and they both circled the same word. This is the killer word.
yeah,
And if you
yeah,
had somebody read it ahead of time, he would have been able to. And they're making his product, but they're not paying him.
yeah.
And that's
Now,
the kicker. They've been making it and selling it all over the world for almost a decade, and
yeah.
they're not paying him for it because of one word in the contract. What a killer.
What a killer! You got to have professional help. Well, let's talk about this week's show and Mark Tango. A little bit about Mark and what can we expect when he comes on. What he's going to talk about.
Great entertainment. All right.
All right.
This gentleman has taken an old game, turned it into just the classic inventor, turned it into a new opportunity to entertain people. And so it's really fun to meet Mark and to have him on. And he is made right here in America. And talk about the challenges that he's got, that he's conquered, and where you can find his product. And oh my goodness, it doesn't matter if you're in a swimming pool, at a tailgate party, this game, all right, this entertainment can go anywhere and everywhere your family goes.
Well, we talked about that in the past. Everybody thinks, and we had gotten comments when we talk about technology. Everybody thinks we just talk about new technology, new inventions, but that's not necessarily. People don't realize that you can take an old idea and repatent it if you have a new idea to improve it. And our audience doesn't realize that you can take an idea and improve it and get a patent for that particular part of that invention if it improves the invention. You follow me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like and I use this example all the time, the guy that had the flashlight. Flashlight's been a light coming out of the end of the stick for 100 years, and the guy that invented the one that wraps around a pole so you don't have to hold the flashlight in your mouth to use both hands.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He got a patent. All right. So, new twists and turns, no pun intended there, to a new product
Yeah.
can make it come alive again in the marketplace.
Yeah. It's just like the guy who invented the ergonomic shovel. Again, I want to talk about that. The shovel's been around for 150 years. It was probably one of the oldest original patent, but a guy figured how to change the stick of the handle to make it more ergonomic to get less stress on the back. And
Yep.
he got a patent. Now, ergonomic shovels, as the workforce gets older, helps the back. And then so when that was introduced, then the ergonomic industry just took off, where more products were based on ergonomic design to help the aging workforce. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
A shovel.
It's like the sponsor of the earlier segment, the True View mirror. It
Yeah,
is a mirror on the side of the car. Well, hello, they've been around forever.
yeah,
But it's the way it's shaped that allows you to see exactly the time and location of the car, the vehicle coming up next to you. And all of the ones that are on the car, because they've got that weird shape, they don't do it right. Is always this vehicle is further away than you really think it is,
yeah.
or it's closer than you really think it is based on the way they've shaped the mirror. And the inventor, he's been working on this product for a long time, and it's amazing.
Well, Rita, we have to take a short break. We're going to have to pay some bills here. And to stay tuned, we're going to have Mark Tango right here on the Made in America show. Don't forget, every week, we do broadcast our show among many national radio affiliates. This is not just a podcast, but an actual terrestrial radio broadcast where we actually broadcast on real radio stations. And we've been broadcasting for almost 30 years right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. So we're going to be back with our first guest. Stay tuned. Me and the inventor lady herself, Rita Crompton, and the Cajun contractor, Michael King. This is The Made in America show will be right back. Yeah, y'all come back now. You hear? Welcome back. This is the Made in America show right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. I am the co-host of the show, the Cajun contractor himself, Michael King, along with the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Miss Rita, who's our first sponsor?
Our sponsor for this segment is Lion Energy. You can go anywhere with a portable power solar generator. LionEnergy.com. Don't get caught out there in the dark. Your family is going to be really cranky at you. Get yourself a Lion Energy portable power solar generator right now. And you can do that at lionenergy.com. So my guest right now is Mark Tango. He is the inventor of Tossin 10. And Tossin 10s is a new twist on an old game. So Mark, thanks so much for being with us today. Tell us, our audience, a little bit about yourself and what is Tossin 10s? What's the difference?
Okay. Well, my name is Mark Tango. I'm born and raised in New Jersey, right in Freehold, New Jersey, only 20 minutes from the Jersey Shore, which was played part of me inventing my game. For almost 30 years, I've been in the hospitality industry, and I ran stadiums around the country. I ran one of the largest football stadiums in the East Coast for Big Ten University. And no matter where I went, from Florida, California, Nevada, anywhere, any sport arena I went to, there was always cornhole being played in the parking lot. And no matter where, and they're having a good time. And there's always saw that in the back of my head. Once COVID hit, of course, the hospitality industry got hit the hardest. I lost my job. So being around the house, I constantly was going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I had my 18-year-old daughter was home. I told her, come on, let's take a ride to the boardwalk, which was, I grew up on the boardwalk, which normally all New Jerseyans do. So no, no, Dad, I don't want to go. Finally, I got her to go, and we played skee ball. I said, look, this is what I used to play when I was younger, 10, 12 years old. I said, this was fun. So we played for about an hour. We come home, and I open up my garage. I go to pull the car in, and my cornhole game is set up against the wall. I just froze. I looked at it, and playing skee ball for an hour, I just had that vision. I placed that skee ball on top of the cornhole, and the rest is history. I came up with a game, and this was tossing tens.
So how is it different from the old cornhole?
Sure. Well, cornhole was invented in the 1700s. People say Kentucky, some people say Ohio. No one knows for sure. Skee ball, however, was invented in 1908 in Vineland, New Jersey, by a gentleman called Joseph Fostier Simpson. Those two items have never changed. Skee ball looked the same, cornhole looked the same. So when I had this vision, I said, okay, people don't do it. Let's put them both together. It's a marriage made in heaven. So there we go. So the hardest thing for me, I'm saying, what do I do? I was in the sports and hospitality industry for over 50 years. I didn't know anything about plastic molding, about making prototypes. That was not my forte. So I said, you know what? Let me try something. I got cardboard, I got aluminum foil, I put it together. I said, this is it. This is the game I want to do. So then I had to find someone who could make the prototype for me. And being in New Jersey, I didn't want to be shipping it out. I mean, I knew nothing about the industry, about plastics. So I wanted to keep it in New Jersey. And the next thing you know, I got a prototype made, and he made Tossin 10s. So Tossin 10s is actually a 24 by 36-inch plastic overlay that goes right on top of your cornhole game. A lot of people say, how is it stuck on there? Is it nailed? Is it screwed? On the underside of each game, there's a 6-inch ring, because every cornhole game has a standard 6-inch cutout. So you place that Tossin 10s game on top of the board, the ring goes in the circle, and it's secure. Seconds, the game is changed. So instead of scoring 1 point and 3 points when you throw the bag, now looking at the skee ball game, you have 5 different positions. You aim for any of the rings, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the two up top, of course, are tens, hence the name Tossin 10s.
All right. So you said something that triggered a question for me.
Okay.
All right. If somebody just buys a Tossin 10 board, can they still play Tossin 10 or do they have to have the cornhole?
It's better. You can still play it. You lay it down flat. As a matter of fact, I do a lot of shows and they're on the Jersey Shore. And going to the beach, it's great because all you have to do is make an angle with the sand. And then it's a perfect angle. And there's one more thing with the toss and tens. So I mentioned about the beach. The game floats. So now you have a pool. You could throw it in your pool and you just use a different bag, the water balls, and you have a game that now floats in the water. Do it on land. It's an all inclusive game to play anywhere.
Well, I thought that was so cool because I was thinking, all right, well, you're not going to throw your cornhole holder,
Right.
game into the water. It'll sink. All right. And you had told me that this would float. So very cool, very versatile. You've got something that you can take to, the backyard parties, the tailgate parties.
The
Easy.
lake, the beach, anywhere you go, the water, people do it for camping. They just put under their camper in their car and they have a new game.
Amazing. All right. So where do you manufacture right now?
Right now, well, when I started doing the prototype, I knew nothing about the industry, so I started speaking to people. Oh, we could do it in China, we can do it in Indonesia, we could do it in Spain. I said, you know what? I don't know about this business. I'm not shipping something I have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for. I lose control. That's the only thing I really knew about the business. I said, it's not going out of my hands. So in turn, I kept on looking around and I found a gentleman company in New Jersey. I said, this is perfect. 45 minutes from my house. I brought the prototype to him. We sat for almost 2 weeks to designing it and taking things off and changing measurements. And it was perfect. There it was. There's my game on a 3D CAD drawing on a computer. So now the next thing is, how do I get that into a game? So he gave me a few names in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. He goes, these are contacts that we have that are in mold injections. Again, I knew nothing about mold injecting, nothing about anything of that industry. So I said, let me start doing more of my research. I checked more and more, and I started calling up the gentlemen, asking different questions. And some questions that I got from the first gentleman, I added that to the next one. So it sounded like I knew all about this plastic injection when I was just using their comments. And I ended up finding one not only in the United States, in New Jersey, an
Good,
hour from my house. So
good
the
for
game
you.
was created, invented, prototyped, designed, developed, and made all in New Jersey.
Well, that's amazing because it doesn't happen very often
Right.
like that. How long from, going to the beach with your daughter and having
Right.
the wow to now?
Once COVID hit, that's when I lost my job. So I lost my job in March of 2020, and that was with COVID. And I went to the board with her in August. The prototype was made in October. One of the hardest things was getting the patent because I know
Yeah.
once I make this, there is nothing like this on the market. People could copy it. So I wanted to get a patent attorney first. And normally patents, as you know, take 3 to 5 years. My patent was completed in 14 months
Good
because there
for
was
you.
nothing on the market. It went right through the
Yeah.
USPTO and it came right back.
Good for
Once I
you.
got the approval,
We're
that's when
gonna
I went through.
hang on just a second there. We've got to go and pay some bills.
Okay,
The time is counting down, and my guy, he's going to be swirling that finger at me any second now. We'll be right
go
back,
ahead.
everybody. Stick with us. And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Made in America because America sees it, we make it, and then we figure out how to sell it to all of you. My guest for this segment is Mark Tango with the cool new version of the beach game, ball game, pool game, and every other kind of game you can imagine. This segment is brought to you by Product Quick Start. Noah McNeely is the founder of Product Quick Start. If you need a prototype made, Product Quick Start is where you need to go. So, Mark, thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Made in America. And Tossin 10 is your new game product. Quick, where do people find it?
Right now, it's on the website, tossintens.com. I also sell it on Etsy. And the funny thing with all my sales are on Etsy. None are from the East Coast. All my sales are on the West Coast. And here they are looking at a product they type in cornhole or outdoor game or lawn game, tailgating, and this is what pops up. They see it, something new, and they buy it. East Coast, they don't see it that way. They normally go to fairs and festivals. I do close to 42 shows a year of festivals, of street fairs, and it's just from April till the beginning of December. Every weekend, I'm on the road somewhere doing the
Wow.
shows. It's a great feeling. People love it. I love it. It's because they see it right away, and the expressions they say, it's, "Oh my God, I know that game," or "I've been playing that since I was little." To see the exuberance on their face when they see a game that they can relate to. It's a great feeling. And then the best feeling is also when they buy it. I said, here I am. I invented something that people that they don't say they want it. They say they need this. I need this game for my backyard. And it's a great feeling. It really is. Because
Oh,
going
I
to The
I know the
festivals.
feeling when, because I've written three murder mysteries, and when I'd get on an airplane and somebody was reading my book and I did not know them, it's like, oh my God, somebody bought my book and I wasn't standing there. So it is really cool. And they say, oh, will you sign it? It's like, oh yeah, you betcha. So, I get that, how exciting it is when, somebody says, it's not like, oh, gee, yeah, I think I'll get one. It's like, no, where can I get one right now? And you say, out of the trunk of my car.
One of the scariest things, I'm when all the shows, if I do a repeat show, I'm doing like every they have a spring and fall show. So I'm there and I'm talking to a customer, explaining how it works. And if someone will come over on the side and say, listen, excuse me, I just bought this game from him a year ago. Oh my God, going through my head is, okay, what is she gonna say? It broke, it cracked, it's terrible. She goes, my grandkids or my family, they don't stop playing it. This is one of the best games I ever bought. And then we kid around and say, all right, I'll give you your $100 later. Thank you. But people, they have to let me know, which is a great feeling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have done the cornhole game, for a long time at different places, different, parks and, events and everything. So yeah, everybody knows that one.
Right.
And my grandkids will be here next week and, they love doing that kind of stuff outside. And so, the one thing that is really cool about it is that you don't need a whole baseball field, but you can count baseball games. So explain to our listeners, it's not just one game.
Okay. Right now, Toss and Tens, it has the look of skee ball. So it has rings that are one, two, three, four, five. There's small, there's 6-inch rings that go up the center of the board. And at the top left and top right, there's another ring with the 10 points. That's how I originally started it for tailgating. Like I said, going around the country, everybody was playing cornhole. So now for tailgating, I said, okay, this is an adapter to or a overlay for all cornhole games. So after doing that, I'm saying, all right, let me think of something else now. So then from that, from the skee ball, I created to the Toss and Tens family, so-called. I have baseball, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, golf, and believe it or not, the most popular, drinking.
I do believe it. I'm an American. Yeah.
So the skee ball is big numbers that say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and 10. The baseball game has smaller numbers. And in the rings, it has the number, but then it also say on top, fly out, strike out, single, double, triple, and then home runs. So now you can play it as skee ball, or now you can play it like old school baseball, that you can throw it and just keep score of how you throw. The other games, the soccer, the golf, the drinking, well, the soccer, drinking, basketball, they had the number, but then they just had different names pertaining to that sport.
Sure. I gotta ask real quick. Don't tell anybody I asked this. Does the drinking version come with alcohol?
I won't answer that.
Okay. I was just gonna check and see. Okay. I am sure if you're creative, you can figure out a way to do that. So, what has been the biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge. Well, like I said, I do 42 shows a year. I've sold over 2,500 games in 3 years, and that's only a 6-month window. The biggest challenge is getting it to the right client. The right client meaning the game, as I explained to you what the game looks like and plays, the biggest challenge, cruise ships, they all have cornhole games. Hotel resorts all have it on the beach or on the by the pool. I am in a procurement with Marriott Hotels. Two hotels already bought it. But again, the challenge is getting it to the masses of the hotels, adult communities. I mean, I work another job, so this is all on me. I can't, how much can I spread myself looking for it? Adult communities, colleges, with the fan appreciation, the color games, everything they do with college fraternities and sororities can use this game somehow, and we could change the words. Colleges and NBA. I sent the email to numerous colleges, and they don't know what to do. And I make it easy for them because I understand they have meetings to say, how do we keep the fans that are in the stands still interactive with the game for basketball? So halftime, I say it's a high point challenge. You line up 5 games long, half court, and I don't care. I'll give them for the school. Line up 5 games, call 5 audience members down, let them play the game, and then they have 3 minutes to throw the bags to score the highest points. Whoever scores the highest points wins swag from the school. And that's college basketball, that's NBA. It's all anybody can do. It's an easy thing instead of watching a dog catch a frisbee, babies crawl across the half court line. I sent letters to middle schools and high schools for phys ed classes. You can't play that dodgeball game that we used to play years ago. You can't play it. But this game gets everybody involved. It gets it into middle school, high school, parks and recreation. I went to a meeting and I went to a expo for parks and recreation I did well there, but it's only the only that see it there. I want to get this to the masses. That's the hardest thing. Corporate events, networking. It's like the icebreakers. They can use this instead of the old school wheel that you spin and what you land on. That's passe. You can't do that. Wineries, breweries, all those. So my biggest challenge is one, letting it go viral and finding the right people to send it to, unlike I just mentioned. Otherwise, you're just sending it info at whatever. And it's not going anywhere.
I absolutely. I do understand. I work with inventors every single day, and we are going to do what we can to see if we can get you out there and launch it for you. See if we can't, I know some guys that have got the rights to use all of those NFL, NBA logos, and wouldn't that be cool to have on a
Oh,
case?
yeah.
So, we're going to work
Absolutely.
on that, school fundraisers, anything and everything that we can do to get the word out there for you. So, what has been your biggest surprise so far?
The biggest surprise. What I mentioned, like I was in this industry, in my industry, hospitality, for 40 years, coming into an industry I knew nothing about. And I guess the biggest surprise or the scariest moment was creating something entirely brand new that no one had any idea about. I myself had to find the courage, speak to my wife, and step into this unknown that is it going to work? Why wasn't it invented before? Like everybody, all the negatives are against it. But I kept on saying, no, this is something that could work together. And then moving forward, of course, investing in a mold, the prices are for that. Investing in a mold while I have two children in college, not knowing where it was going to lead. That was, I guess, the biggest surprise. But the biggest surprise, looking back and saying, I'm glad I did it.
There you go. There you go. So, everybody, we will be back after we go and pay some bills. We'll find out a little bit more about Mark's next challenges. And you know what? If you've got somebody out there that is making something in America, please have them get in touch. It's amazing how fast a Monday will roll around these days. And we love sharing the stories. We love letting all of you know the products that are made right here in your own back yard. Support Made in America. Go and look for those cool products. We'll be right back with Mark Tango and wrap up this episode of Made in America. So stick with us, everybody. And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Made in America. I love it. Americans see it, need it, we make it right here in our own backyard. And Mark, I love it when we've got something fun that everybody, it doesn't matter if they are kindergarten age or elderly age, they
Right.
can enjoy this game. It is for anyone and everyone, no matter where they are, parking lot, beach, swimming pool, or you know what, on the patio. So tell everybody a little bit about you. What about you?
Me.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm a Jersey boy, born and raised. I always loved the shore, so this was always in my mind. We always playing games. My family, we always played games, had people over, have friends over, and it was just part of having fun. And growing up, it was my parents, my family, my wife, now my kids, and that's the whole idea is having fun. And inventing this during COVID, that was the perfect time because at that point, everything was so uncertain. You didn't know what was going to be going on in the world and what could bring people together, strangers, neighbors that you never met before. You were all confined. We were all confined. And doing this, all of a sudden, it just makes me feel really good that I did something, I invented something that not only I enjoy, but strangers are enjoying, and it's out there. But the biggest thing is getting it viral, and that's my biggest challenge is getting it viral.
Well, and I was going to ask you, what's next for you? And so what are some of your ideas about getting it viral?
Well, first, still I'm having a problem because back to like the problems or the challenges I have, you could do so many things with influencers, so many things with marketing companies. They all want the money up front. They say, "Oh, we can do this." They promise you the world, and I got sucked into it. And what did I get from it? Nothing. And it's like, how much more can I do this? And they, no matter what, they promise you and promise you. And I said, I'm a startup business. Can we do the payments on the back end so you can prove to me what you do? Oh, we don't work that way. And I'm not saying one or two companies. I'm saying at least 40 to 50 companies I called. And I didn't give my own money to all them, but the ones I did, they got me one person, one influencer. I won't even go into that. that, but the influencing is hard, is very, very hard. And getting the right marketing company. Oh, we'll promise you 1 million views. I don't want 1 million views. I need sales. That's what
There
I
you go.
need. Oh, we
People
can't
don't
promise.
realize the difference. A view is not a sale.
Right,
It's
right.
crazy.
So right now I try to do funny videos and things, well, not funny, but serious videos and fun ones on Instagram. And then once they click on it, I've been watching the activity. I'm very pleased what's going on with Instagram and Facebook because they could click on the website. I had purchases. So that's what my next steps are is trying to find the right company or trying to find the right person that can help me and push this.
Well, we are going to try to help you, and we are looking forward to it. So we've got some steps that we're looking at taking and information gathering so that we can try to help you get it out there.
Perfect.
And for a lot of inventors, they get right to the point where you are. It's like you've kind of hit your ceiling, and what do you do? What do you do to be able to get it out there? And it's
Right.
unfortunate, but it is kind of it's kind of the next step up, Mark,
And
on
it could
what's
be
going
very
on.
frustrating for inventors when they say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I came to that point, like I'm almost hitting the wall. Then I do a show, and next thing you know, it just changes my outlook and saying, "Oh my God, people really do like it." But then during the winter, January, February, when there's no shows going on, there's no sales because it's not out there. And I don't get discouraged. I just keep on saying, "I know what's going to happen in 3 months. I'm going to be busy for the next 50, 35 weeks in shows," and it does. It works. Don't get disappointed. If you have a passion for it, you have to enjoy it. If you make it a job, you're not going to enjoy it. Just make it a passion of yours, and it'll be very easy.
You're actually very right. I mean, when we look at, industries and products that have been around for, you know, decades, and, we've talked to them, and part of it, handing it down to a son or daughter or a grandchild that takes over the business and runs with it. And you can just, I mean, it's like it's in their blood, when they start talking about it, and the family legacy that goes on. It's wonderful to watch that be passed down to families,
Right.
and for a lot of them, it's when they take on then that next partnership, like with when we work with Pronto Launch and we take on inventors like yourself and say, okay, here's where we've got the leverage, this is what we can do. So for a lot of the folks out there, they kind of grow up on their own like you have, and then it's a matter of, okay, what's next, what can I do that makes the most sense?
Oh, me?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, just try work with we can work together and find the right people, find the right contacts. And I know you know them out there. I don't know though. That's not my industry. Even though no matter how much I look, all these websites look great, beautiful pictures and offices. I don't know them from anybody, and that's the scariest thing.
It is, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I've, seen those. And nobody put pandemic in their 2020 business plan.
Right.
And so the fact that it's like, okay, now what? Now what are we going to do? Oh, let's invent a new game and show the rest of the world what we've got.
Perfect.
And now you're out there showing them what you've got.
That's it. And one thing you asked me before, where can you get it? It's funny. The Made in America store in Elma, New York, they purchased
Yeah.
things for me 3 years ago, and they just purchased another reset a year and a half ago. So it makes you feel good. A store made in America, man. How much more can you ask to put that in their store, which is great.
Yep. Mark Andal. I had him on the radio right before he passed away. And, it was wonderful to talk about the different products that were on the Made in America store. There's another platform out there that is all Made in America. I will send you that information so that in the interim of us making you big and famous, that we can actually get you onto another platform.
Perfect.
So anyway, Mark Tango, thank you so much for being on with us today. Everybody, we will be back next week with another episode of Made in America. We see it, we need it, we do it. Made in America, right here in your own backyards.